My name's Krueger, and I'm the owner of Canada's biggest hula hoop company, georevhooping.com. People often think that's strange. Hula hoops, didn't those go out of style in the 60s? But if I have my way about it, they're going to get very popular again. GeoRev stands for the Geometric Revolution, and so my company is all about sharing circle consciousness with the masses and helping people get into flow arts. Every material that I use is designed to support the person in their flow arts journey. Flow arts is about using a prop to connect with the present moment by learning a series of movements and then through time and space acting on those movements to get into a flow state. It involves dance, athleticism, and moving meditation. When I first started hula hooping, I noticed that there weren't very many stores in Canada that sell this product. And of the stores that there were, they didn't have a very big selection. There were 2 stores when I started looking for one. And I quickly realized that you can make one yourself from commonly available supplies in the hardware store. And they're just serviceable. They're not really at the professional level. So I began making them as a hobby for myself and for friends and learning how to tape them myself. And taping the hoops especially is a craft that requires quite a bit of physical strength and artistry, and it took years before I was good enough at that to go public with the skills that I had in taping them. I realized there was a real need in this country for a high-level hoop shop that has a large selection like the American shops do. It was my dream to start this store to service the Canadian hula hooper population, which to the regular population doesn't sound like a thing, but it is. There are hundreds of thousands of people interested in the flow arts in our country, and I realized that it could be a place for me to share and to help. It took quite a while and a lot of work and dedication and passion to get my company to grow into what it is today. For a long time, I've been doing this by myself. It's a sole proprietorship, so it's me that does everything from working on the website, making the orders, doing the customer service, shipping them out, doing all the marketing. It's better now because I have some help. I have my first employee. Using my knowledge of being a master hoopsmith, I'll be making these custom orders out of some of the supplies behind me for my customers, who range from people who have never hula hooped before to professional hoop dance artists, to people that do hula hooping as a hobby, people that are buying them for their children or their spouses. And making the hoops is actually pretty labor intensive. I bought out 3 companies here in Canada who decided that the labor of making hula hoops was actually not for them, requires a large investment as well. So when I come in here to do the work in the shop, it's labor. It's artisanal crafting. Over the years of refining my process, I've just gotten really good at making pretty much every kind of hula hoop that you can make. I have a very high standard that I hold myself to with my products because I use the products myself. Every single product that I craft is at a 5-star level. A 5-star level means that this is something that the customer is going to appreciate and rave about. It's going to be perfectly circular. The connection's going to be flush. It's not going to have any defects. It's going to be the right color and specifications that they ordered. If it's a taped hoop, the tape job is going to be perfect. It's going to look like a machine level of quality for a handmade product. It also encompasses customer service and ensuring that every customer is supported in their flow arts journey and happy with the product that they got. So most of the customers I have are through word of mouth and returning customers. What led me to owning Canada's biggest hula hoop shop was how making hoops and teaching hoops affected my other careers. When I lived in that small town, there wasn't a lot of work, so I would spend some of my spare time volunteering, teaching kids circus skills. And the man who ran the circus club also ran the local flow arts troupe, and he was the school psychologist. So after working with them for a number of years, when I moved to Calgary, he was my reference for me to get into social work because my background is in English. It's an academic background. So when I came here, directly because of my work teaching kids circus skills and teaching hula hoop, I was able to break into the social work field and start helping kids in the group homes here in Calgary. Children, teenagers mostly, that had behavioral challenges from their abuse and neglect that they had been through. So I started working in the group homes, and of course I would bring the hula hoops in to the group homes and help with art therapy, because a lot of times these teens would have their privileges taken away, but we would never take away community and music and time spent together, the outdoors, these kinds of things. So I'd always have a big stack of hula hoops in the group home. And a lot of these kids, even the most rough around the edges, would get very creative to get to use these things and introduce flow arts to them and help them work off some of that energy that they had. And what really expedited the size of my company was when I chose to position living with those kids as their live-in teaching parent. So I lived in a suite in the group home with 5 of these kids, like the house mom. And because I lived there, I was able to reduce my expenses. I didn't have to pay rent or for food or anything. That was all covered by my agency. So I just poured every paycheck I had into the inventory of my company. And that is how I grew it to be pretty rapidly the largest one in the country. And this company is now large by world standards, not just Canadian standards. It's a 5-star hoop shop with a massive inventory so that people who are super into hula hooping can purchase just about any kind of hoop that they would want directly from me due to the inventory that I built.
Wow. And so just
having a large variety of colors and selection is essential for a hoop shop. For me, the benefit of working in this hoop shop is it's just unlike any other job that there is out there. I do a lot of customer service, but when I'm in here working in the shop, it's making art. It's being surrounded by colors and making beautiful products that people will love, and it's a very heart-centered job in that way.
That was a perfect answer that made my heart melt.
Because you're the only employee. Someday, though, I would love to have lots of people working for me making these hoops, and that's my dream, is that it takes off and every household has to have 2 or 3 of these things.
I feel like we're not far from that.
I hope so. That's why I called it the geometric revolution.
Oh, it's perfect.
For me, making the hoops is really tied up also in my identity as a hooper and as a flow artist. Becoming a master at what I do in regards to making them has just given me so much confidence and joy to be able to share what I do with so many people. It's a way for me to just connect with people and make community. Almost every close friend that I've made has been through this company. To look at who I was 20 years ago when I didn't have flow arts in my life versus who I am now. I'm in my 40s and I'm a lot more social, vibrant, and a leader really, who makes change in my community and in this country. And I never would have guessed that I would be that kind of person 20 years ago. So to say that it's changed me as a person is a massive understatement. It defines my identity. It's very important to me to be good at what I do. It's hard work. It gives me a sense of pride and authenticity to share what I do with people and to help them in a way that I was not able to be helped in this country when I was looking for my first hula hoops. Keeping it in Canada. I'm an artist, I think, first and foremost. I am a hustler. I have always had my hands in many different plates. And my whole life, whenever I've gotten into something, I have gotten really into it. And the reason that this company is successful is because I spent the entire balance of my life's free time working on it and working on my craft, becoming a master hoopsmith. I love to make things that are beautiful. I love to make things that are functional, and I love to work with my hands. And so when I got into hoopsmithing, I realized that just the boundless potential that there was for me to use my creativity against the supplies and the inventory that I have to make an infinite number of products that would just make people so happy. Other than hula hooping, I love connecting with my community, nurturing my friendships, doing what I do with the social work and helping some of our most vulnerable people here in Calgary, because I still do that. I still have a full-time career in social work. I love to sew, I love to read, I love to make things, like I said, so any kind of art. And what I really believe is that you don't have to be good at things when you start to give yourself permission to do them, because if you could see some of the first hoops I made, they were pretty janky. It wasn't until I had put all those hours in to creating that I develop this skill. Same thing with hula hooping. A lot of people, when they start doing it, they might not be amazing at it, but when you put time into something and put your heart into it, the universe has no choice but to respond with your growth. And so for me, who I am as a person, my identity is tied up in this company, my identity as a flow artist, my ability to impact others and create change in my communities. Geo-rev hooping has allowed me to fully express myself in a way that I don't think I would have had I not discovered flow arts and hula hooping and the need in this country for this kind of company.
That's beautiful. And so
A lot of people just won't really look at you because what you're doing might make them uncomfortable. They see a grown woman hula hooping and there's something a little threatening about that. And I think I had that before I really opened my eyes to it. I think I'd been aware of hula hooping and flow arts since I was a young woman. But something about it intimidated me and made me think, that's not for people who look like me, or that's not for people who aren't children or 18 or thin or whatever construct I had put up. So I did the same thing. I had blinders on to flow arts and dance because I also didn't believe that I could dance. And so it wasn't actually until I was almost 30 years old and I was at a music festival where I just happened to be in a place where a lot of people were doing flow arts. They were spinning staffs, they were spinning hoops, they were spinning poi, and everywhere I looked this was happening. So finally, because so many people were doing it, I had to see it. And what I saw was a girl who looked like me, and then she dropped it, and then she just picked it up and kept doing it, which kind of was like a light bulb moment for me. That gave me permission that could be me too. So before, I didn't feel that I had permission to express myself, to dance. And when I had that experience, I was pretty sparked with interest, and that's when I realized that there's a whole community, there's an online community that you can actually teach yourself online how to do these kind of movements, that dance is for everybody. And I just want to say that again, dance is for everybody. Everybody's allowed to dance and allowed to express themselves and move. And that's one of the most beautiful things about a hula hoop is it's a prop that gives people permission to embrace their creative expression. So that was really it for me. Like many people, I got quite obsessed with it after discovering that it was just giving myself permission, that it was okay for me to have fun and play and move. Everybody deserves the chance to let their guard down, to be silly, to look dumb, to not feel this pressure that we have to be perfect. For me, that's what hula hooping has given me more than anything, is the confidence and the permission to be myself. It's what I hope for all my customers, and what still brings me joy even after doing these years of backbreaking labor is to know that when I send these beginner hoops out, there's a chance that product is going to spark that in someone else.
That's adorable.
One of the most rewarding things is when someone buys a beginner hoop for me, and then a little while later they start buying polypros, because if they get into it, they're going to need a bunch of different sizes. So my business model is based on people needing 5 to 20 of these things. And I have had a number of my customers come back again and again. These hula hoops that I make have changed their lives in the way that you need the right tool to increase your skills and your abilities. Being able to craft the hoops going from beginner all the way to professional circus artist has for sure influenced and helped people that I know become professional circus artists. Otherwise, they can get similar products elsewhere in the world, but they're gonna have to get them from the States, pay duties, customs, shipping, take extra time. I've been able to help people who were in a bind here in Calgary get items that they needed overnight, because my shop is a specialty shop that has specialty products in it that is unlike any other shop in the entire country. So people that live here in this city could come to my shop and get what they need right away.
So true. Is Geo-rev different than other hoop companies?
I think what makes my company different than other companies is, number one, I am a 5-star shop, and that is just so important to me. I think there's going to be a lot of similarities with other 5-star shops in the States, but it's certainly different than the other Canadian companies because I have subsidized this company with my career the entire time it's been open. So whenever I am able to get new colors, new products, I put my money into that. So I have a massive inventory, which certainly differentiates it from other Canadian hula hoop companies who have a tiny inventory. It can take tens of thousands of dollars to build the kind of inventory that I have. Other than that, I use specialized hardware that most companies worldwide don't use. I have a lot of different options for my customers. My tape jobs are absolutely impeccable. So there are other companies that tape hula hoops at the professional level that probably aren't achieving the same aesthetic results that I am, given my absolute obsession with machine-like taping done by a human hand. A good percentage of the money that I make selling these hoops goes right back into the hoop shop. So it's ever evolving, continuing, and growing. I have a lot of ideas for future products that could actually change the industry. And overall, it's unique because it's mine. It's every part of this company has my touch on it and my brand, my sacrifice, and the way that I like to do things. So that alone is just going to make it special.
Very true.
This company has been a labor of love for me. It's my legacy. It's intimately tied up in the social work that I do. I would not have come to social work without the hula hoops, and for that I am so profoundly grateful, because aside from flow arts and hula hoops, building this company has allowed me to have an impact on that community. And there's people out there who needed my help and who still need my help, and were it not for the path that I've been on, I would not have been in the place to give it to them and to change their lives too. And so the main thing that I would like to say to the world, to any customers and future customers, is just thank you so much for supporting me. It is hard work to run this company, but it is so rewarding and valuable, and I appreciate it so much.
You just melted my heart.